Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode. My name is Pat Carrick.
And I'm David Mayer.
And this is the show where we drive 100 miles to the closest cinema to watch the latest movies so we can help you decide whether it's worth the drive.
On this week's episode, our second episode, it's The Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. It's basically the story of a humble businessman with a slightly secretive past who gets embroiled in a web of intrigue and a cat and mouse game of wits and wills when his daughter gets unfortunately killed in a terrorist attack.
I'm not laughing about that.
Things to look forward to from this film.
Jackie's back.
Jackie's back.
That's the reason why I'm driving here. Jackie's back. He's looking a little grizzled. He's not the Jackie that we know, which is why I'm kind of excited. He's kind of taken on, the natural progression of age, and I think that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I love a bit of Jackie Chan. I do prefer my martial arts films to be a little bit less silly, a little bit less flying around the screen, and a little bit more sensibly choreographed. And I think Jackie Chan can lend his hand to that.
Yeah, well, I love Jackie. The Rush Hour films, particularly the first one and the second one, big fan, and I just love that he brings his own little kind of style to it. He does all of his own stunts. I'm sure he still is doing a lot of them.
I hope so, and I hope the one thing we haven't seen probably since the Rush Hour films is that credit sequence where Jackie Chan does all of his stunts and kind of messes them up a little.
Oh, I got a good impression. You want to see an impression?
And Pierce Brosnan's back.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Pierce Brosnan for a while. I can't remember the last big movie that I saw Pierce Brosnan in.
Big movie, neither can I, but he has popped in a lot of smaller budget films, and he's been keeping quite a good career in that sense. But it's good to see him back as well.
Good to see him back on the big screen. I think the other thing we have to talk about is Martin Campbell.
Yeah.
Fantastic directing choice.
Totally.
He's directed Pierce Brosnan before in GoldenEye.
Yes.
The best Pierce Brosnan Bond film. He also directed Casino Royale.
Yeah, so he kind of launched the Brosnan James Bond films, and obviously the best one. And then Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig films, that's the best one too.
Yeah.
So starting franchises doesn't always hit it, as per one DC film that people tend not to mention.
Let's not say that out loud.
Okay, well, let's forget that. I've got the benefit of the doubt with this director, Martin Campbell, and I'm looking forward to this one.
I think it all looks positive. Anything else you wanna touch on before we hit the cinema?
No.
No.
Just saw a dead deer. We've made it.
We're
safe.
at the cinema. We're very much looking forward to it, brimming with excitement, and the concession stand is calling our name, so we'll be back very soon with our review of The Foreigner.
Hello!
We're back.
We're just sorting out our lighting as it is now nighttime.
Yes. But the important thing is we got to see the movie.
Yeah.
We've seen the movie. We're back. We're going to review the movie for you now.
Initial thoughts?
It wasn't quite what I was expecting from a Jackie Chan film. It wasn't. I would say you can't think of it as a martial arts movie. It's not a martial arts movie. It's a thriller. It's got intrigue. It's got twists and turns. It's got machinations behind the scenes, and Jackie Chan happens to do martial arts in it. But it's not a martial arts film.
No. It certainly is an action movie. There was plenty of action elements to it. And as Dave mentions, it's quite a thrilling ride for the most part. And overall a decent film. However, it does have its problems.
It does. I think the first thing for me is it opens quite dramatically.
Yes.
And then just slows right down. And for me, it slows down just a little bit too much until you get almost halfway through, until it starts to really pick up again.
But I think it kind of needs to show Jackie Chan's character. What's his name? Do we have his name?
Mr. Kwan.
Mr. Kwan.
I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his full name.
At the very beginning, he finds himself in a tragic situation and is determined to find out who is responsible for it. So it does need to slow down to show how much he's dedicated to finding out the culprits, and that's when he gets in touch with Pierce Brosnan's character, who I thought was quite good. What did you think?
I liked him. It's nice to see him doing an Irish accent,
Right.
and his Irish accent was pretty good. You could see it slipping though, even for a true Irishman. There was a few little bits where he just sounded a bit James Bond.
For me, it was just strange hearing him with an Irish accent to a point where I had to remind myself that he was Irish, but it was just weird hearing him. So I think any time you hear a character doing a different type of accent, your ears need to adjust, and it does take some time for that. But his performance in general was, quite believable. I believed him. He was in a tight spot for the most part of the film, and I felt his stress.
I think the one thing that definitely holds all the way through the film is the level of grit. It's a gritty movie. Jackie Chan is gritty, and he looks grim and gritty.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan has that sort of bubbling undercurrent of anger, and I mean, you could be quite frightened of him in some scenes in that movie. You could see where his character had come from,
yes,
and why he was a dangerous man, and it looked gritty. It kind of had a bit of that feel of Casino Royale.
It did,
particularly in a lot of the fight scenes.
And I feel that's where the film fell short for me, because you have Jackie Chan in a movie, you have a director who is quite famous for doing action sequences and bringing out things that are quite unique and things you haven't seen before, and that's where I kind of felt that it was a little Casino Royale light. I thought
you wanted a bit more.
It wasn't that I wanted more of it. I just wanted to think that when the action did unfold, that I would be a little bit more wowed and a little bit more impressed by its uniqueness, and it wasn't quite there for me. I didn't feel as many punches as I thought I might, particularly from a Jackie Chan movie where he prides himself on how an action set piece should be put together.
Yeah.
But Jackie Chan's performance emotionally, and as a father who has had tragedy all throughout his life, he was fantastic.
I think another thing we have to talk about is there's evidence that some of the things just came a little bit out of nowhere in the movie. Some elements of the film just weren't really fully explored. One of the main ones for me was Jackie Chan's character's backstory. It came very late. What we did get of it came very late in the movie, and it wasn't really fully explained. It was just kind of shown to you, and you had to knit the pieces together for yourself. There were times in this where I kind of felt like I just jumped from one bit to the next bit, to the next bit, to the next bit.
For me, I was more interested in the storyline at hand, and I think it was handled quite well, and there were a few twists and turns. I think in a lot of ways it's more Pierce Brosnan's movie than Jackie Chan's movie. Jackie Chan is having the revenge aspect to it, but Pierce Brosnan is going through all the twists and turns and having people at him at all different angles.
But for me, that kind of offers another issue, which is that if Pierce Brosnan's character is the character that you feel a bit more connected to, and I can see where you're coming from there, then I don't think there was really enough of a focus on that character either.
Right.
I think it just fell down slightly. Well, some of our lights have gone off. This could turn out to be a disaster. But no, they're back on.
I'm gonna put this window up as well, because
it's all going terribly wrong. We will, by the next video, have sorted out how we're going to deal with nighttime shoots.
Or I'll just cut this out completely and no one will even know. As usual, it's come to that time where we have to rate the movie out of 100 miles based on the length that we came here to watch the movie in the first place. And for me, it was just a pretty much straight run-of-the-mill action movie. If that's your jam, if that's what you like to go and see at the movies, then this movie's for you. It has enough twists and turns and some fantastic performances by the main characters. However, it does slip in some of the action sequences for me. Engaging enough, so I'm going to give the movie 65 miles out of 100.
65. I have no problem with a slow building thriller. I have no problem with it not being a martial arts movie. My issues were that if you're going to do a slow thriller, if you're going to build it up like that, so you have to have the little bit more of the backstory. You have to know why we feel for these characters. You have to know where these characters are coming from, and I think the film didn't really offer as much of that as I would have liked. Yeah, I think, to be honest, you're about right. I would say it's, for me, again, it's somewhere in the region of about 65. The Foreigner gets a thumbs up from me, and I think probably a thumbs up from Pat, but on this occasion, not worth the drive.
So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching our second episode of Worth the Drive. For those who have already subscribed, we really appreciate that, and watching this video as well. For those who haven't, thank you for watching, and please click the subscribe button so we can help the channel grow, and we can work on getting these videos a little bit better and better as time goes on.
Please comment if there's anything you liked, if there's anything you think we can improve on. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed the show, hope you're enjoying some good movies, and we'll hope to catch you later on down the road.